Ah, yes. Hello, mate. What's going on? And welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. And yes, welcome back to Chelsea News, which of course is the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I reflect on what's been said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts on said stories, but as always, more importantly, asking for yours. Yeah? Today, we are discussing a bunch of stuff. Thiago Silva, out of nowhere, he's playing for Porto. They've signed him. Like a burglar in the night. That happened very quickly. Of course, there was speculation. John Terry was saying he should come back to Chelsea. He'd love to see it, and we spoke about it. It was a talking point. And, maybe a little bit on that. Josh Champong. The probably, dare I say, criminally underused defender at Chelsea. Bayern Munich and Man City both are watching him and looking at his minutes and are interested in him. He's incredibly talented. We'll reference some article stuff on that. A bit of an injury boost returning players. Maresca's got a ban, actually, for the Villa game for accumulation of yellow cards. And we'll probably finish speaking about the sponsorship. Apparently we've got a temporary sleeve sponsor this season, a Vietnamese company, I believe, but we're looking to do another one for a long-term deal next season. But also, of course, we need the front of shirt sponsor. Ben Jacobs spoke to a little bit on the London is Blue pod to my friend Nick Villaney. I've just seen a clip. So I do listen to the podcast, it's very good, but I haven't listened to that yet, but I just want to speak a little bit more loosely about that as well, mate. So welcome on back. How are you, mate? Are you good? I really do hope you are. Thank you for joining me. If you are watching on YouTube, you are, I'd gently like to encourage you to support the content by liking the video and subscribing. And if you do choose to subscribe, hit the bell. And of course, a gentle reminder that every single upload, for a test period, is being uploaded onto all podcast platforms. I will keep doing it if there's a growing, the downloads. They call it downloads on podcast. I thought it would be like listens or whatever, but it's called downloads. The downloads are going up all the time, but I need to make sure that there's an appropriate appetite for it, and I will continue doing it. So, go follow on your podcast app. It's just Football Therapy Podcast. And if you do use Spotify, I'd love a 5-star review or just positive reviews on whatever you use. All right, then. Thanks for all the your support. As always, the admin, the housework out the way. Let's get into the meat of this delicious meal. This is the more relaxed format podcast style, you might say, because no chops and edits today, so I'll have to reference sources just by speaking to you. But I will bring back the edits. I know people like it when I mix and match. Don't worry, because I got sick. I got like some stomach virus, and then I was like, I just didn't have the energy, the juice to do it. And obviously, a lot of people prefer the less chopped up version sometimes. So, I like to keep it fresh and mix and match. So let's quickly cover Thiago Silva. He's gone to Porto. Benvindo. This is probably the perfect move for him. He wanted to return to Europe after leaving his boyhood club, Fluminense. Maybe there was no opportunity to rejoin Chelsea. I thought maybe he could go to Milan, but to be honest, Porto is perfect. You can go to the Liga Norte or whatever, the top division of the Portuguese football pyramid is called. They're top of the pops. He can, he can play a pretty good level of football, probably enough for Ancelotti to call him up for the summer. I imagine he's had a phone call with him. He's like, go and play in Europe, go and play for a good team with good players. Porto are top of their league in a top, let's just be safe here, a top 7 league in the world, certainly in Europe, top 7 European league, and they're a top, and they're used to winning, and he's playing with good players. I don't know if he'll start for them, but he'll be among them. I imagine he'll start, and I can't imagine he'll start for Brazil, but he'll go there and he'll be among them and available for Ancelotti. Who knows? He might be 41, but he keeps surprising everyone, Thiago Silva. It's a nice story. Look, I would have liked to have come back to Chelsea, but he needed to do what was right for him. And yeah, bro, going going to Portuguese league, who are the team that are leading the way. Makes sense really. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about this Joshua Champong situation. I'm quickly going to read an article on Football 365, and we'll get into, I suppose, the weeds a little bit more of Josh. Manchester City and Bayern Munich are both said to be interested in a Chelsea star, with both clubs monitoring his situation. This initially came from Ben Jacobs, who's, he's got good information often. City have made good signings from fellow Premier League clubs in recent years. Of course, Mateus Nunes. Is that a good signing? Ray and Aït-Nouri, eventually that'll be a good signing. Nathan Ake, that was a good signing. They are on the hunt for the next player to add to that group. A few months ago, it was reported that they were interested in Chelsea man Joshua Champong, with his future uncertain. The defender has since become an important member of the Blues side, playing more minutes in the Premier League already this season than he did all last campaign. Not hard though. He played so many minutes in the Conference League, and he is still a teenager. So, come on. Now, transfer insider Jacobs has reported on Give Me Sport that City and Bayern Munich as well have both registered an interest in Joshua Champong. Both clubs are said to be watching his game time in case an opportunity presents itself next year. Because, of course, they'll be like, well, if Chelsea aren't using him, we'll give them Chelsea good money. And if we give Chelsea good money, they'll be like, hello, a pure profit asset sale. We know what these guys are like, It does go on to say, however, the defender is not agitating for a move, despite being aware of growing interest in him. So he's probably sitting there like, oh yeah, Bayern Munich want me. Oh yeah, the relentless winners coached by Guardiola want me in Man City. It's like it's nice to be wanted, right? So yes. Indeed, the Blues feel like the 19-year-old's development is on track. With Enzo Maresca recently hailing his performances, he said, the good thing about Josh is in that the moment we give him a chance, he is always doing well. The reason why I said many times he's going to be a big player for this club, it's a matter of being patient, waiting for the right moment, and also knowing that he continues to perform the way he's doing, he is going to have more and more chances. So yeah, the messaging is therefore consistent that Champong won't be moved on, though clubs could see an opportunity if Chelsea have an offer, to make Chelsea, an offer if his role does not continue to grow. But given he's already played more this season, it might not be appropriate. And he's played in 4 Champions League games, has he? Oh, okay, right. Now, one moment. Right, sorry, I had to sort of clear my throat there. Right, so Joshua Champong, he's different gravy granules, he's mustard. For me, of course, it was the twins, him and Tyreek George. They're really close, they're like the same age. They always hang out together on the bus and in training and stuff. That's what they call them. Well, that's what Lavia calls them, the twins, in a video I watched once, which I found funny. I think Tyreek George is a talented player, but he's clearly drifting away from this Maresca side in terms of his productivity, his compatibility, and maybe even his devotion to Chelsea. Tyreek George will go probably in January. Chelsea will sell him. Even if they loan him first, they will sell him. They will make pure profit on him. Sorry, but it's a good thing. It's ultimately a good model, but it's unromantic, isn't it? Now, the untouchable out of the two for me is the aforementioned Joshua Champong. Maresca always waxes lyrical about the young defender, saying, of course, that funny line that he's in love with him. Chelsea released, a funny video the next day of everyone going, ooh, on the training pitch, Maresca laughing, saying they're just jealous, mate. Of course, it's, he's not romantically in love with him. It's a second language thing, but he loves Josh, basically, is what he's saying. He can play right back. He can play right centre back, left centre back. He can play right back. He can play left central defensive midfield. He's played all over the gaff, like on the left and right defensive pockets. He's been trusted in a multitude of positions at such a young age. It's a huge. He's an amazing player. A lot of Chelsea fans. Everyone's got their favourites, right? People. Yeah, I think. Who does everyone love at Chelsea? I'm trying to think. Everyone agrees Levi Cole's really good. And after that, people will have their favourites. People have their preferences. People like Chalobah, where's Fofana. I mean, even Badiashile will have his, because he's a sort of, he has had a few high-profile, really good performances for Chelsea over like the couple of years he's been here, but ultimately not. I think Tosin's often been serviceable and is in now really bad form. But Joshua Champong has got a really high ceiling and he's so young. Now, he absolutely shouldn't be going anywhere. This will be a massive test of the resolve to these Chelsea hierarchy, the sporting directors. Let's just say, let's just play a game here. Theoretically, if Bayern Munich wanted a new young defender that they can knows intelligent, aggressive, and positionally versatile, and they just said, look, Josh is not, he's already very good and he's going to get better. And, he's an academy asset for Chelsea. Let's just waive £50 million on him. Not like, Tariq George is probably going to go for like 17 to 20 million. If Bayern Munich or Man City, it's easier with Bayern Munich because you're not selling to a rival. Bayern Munich waive 50 million quid under Chelsea's nose, pure profit for Joshua Champong. What would they do? And by the way, some people might be like, definitely don't sell him. Some people might scoff at that, like, well, it's your dreamland. No one's going to offer 19-year-old 50 million. But like, I don't know. I reckon if they looked at how this guy performs in the Premier League, looks at his age, and looks at his, scope to improve, and in perhaps his injury record, they might go, yeah, I mean, why go buy friggin', I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a sort of £50 million, a good centre-back at Lyon or, high-performing centre-backs at like top 6 clubs in the top 5 leagues. But, if they've got a sort of shining star. I mean, Dean Howson went for 50 million, to Real Madrid. I'm not sure how well he's doing out there at the moment. But there'll be people looking at a Champong going, similar age, younger than Howson actually. He's younger than Dean Howson. How old is Dean Howson? I'm just going to check. Dean Howson he's 20, he's a year younger than him. So they're a similar age. But, and why not say Joshua Champong can go for the same as Dean Howson? He's a year younger. He plays a multitude of different positions. So he's played quite a few minutes, Dean Howson, this season for Real Madrid, but not loads. Why not? I'll be very interested to test the resolve. I'd like to think he's in the sort of, unless it's a silly offer, he ain't going anywhere, basically. Let me know what you think about Josh. I really, really think he's a sort of star in the making. Like, out of the teenagers, let's just pick some teenagers quickly. Or Gu, Tariq George, and Josh Champong. He's the most valuable one. We bought friggin' Mark Gu for 5 million. We're going to make a profit on him. And then the other two are inferior pure profit assets. But out of those 3 teenagers, I think it's Josh. I know people like Mark Gu, but I think it's Joshua Champong all day in terms of high ceiling. So it'd be very interesting to see their resolve tested. I'd love for them to be like, turn down some huge bids for him. That would definitely ingratiate themselves more to the Chelsea fan base to show they're not just about money. Because there might be an offer that seems like a neutral will be like, well, you should accept that. This is a kid, ultimately, and you get loads of money, and that is a pure profit on the books. But it'll be very interesting to see. Right, let's move on. Let's talk about the return of Esteval and the ban of Enzo Maresca. Right, okay, I've prepared some article here so I can keep going. Esteval, he is returning for Aston Villa. He had an injury. It wasn't an illness. It was like a slight muscular injury. That's what he was absent. Of course, Cardiff, everyone thought he would start. And of course, he was absent for that game entirely. And indeed, the last game away at Newcastle at St. James's Park, that crazy 2-2 that I reacted to yesterday. So, Esteval will be back for Aston Villa, which is a huge game. They are flying high. They are above us. They take on Manchester United at time today, on the 21st, at time of recording. That will be a hugely difficult game. Both Esteval and Liam Delap will be returning and will be available for this game, which is huge because it's going to be super tough. If we can beat Aston Villa, then people will be like, yeah, Chelsea are good, because they'll be like, so obviously we were in a really bad slump. We were like winless in 5 or something. And then they'll be like, okay, well, they beat Everton. It's a good win. They beat Cardiff. It's a good expected win, but, it was away from home, 3-1 rotation, a nice moment for Garnacho to get a brace. They've got the job done. No injuries. Job done. And then they got a comeback. I know it sounds a bit like the game against Arsenal, but a creditable draw, all things considered. With everything that happened and missed chances as well from Newcastle United. 12:30 early kickoff away from home to get that 2-2 draw comeback. It was creditable. So the last 3 games undefeated, 2 wins and a draw. If you beat Aston Villa, those 4 games become good form. Do you know what I mean? In isolation. So it's a huge game. So having both Estevao returning and Liam Delap is massive. But Maresca will get a touchline ban because it's his 3rd yellow card, which is really, really frustrating. He said Maresca, said like he was complaining because of the same foul happened 3 times, and he is a proper hothead, Maresca, isn't he? Not in a bad way. I like it, I like how he sort of gives it some, he celebrates. Sometimes he runs down. He's giving me like mini Mourinho vibes, obviously running down the touchline, the Liverpool win, getting a red card. Giving it a little bit in press conferences, grabbing his nuts in like a sort of insulting gesture to people. And of course, like always he's not like really quiet and passive on the touchline. He's really, really into it. I like that. I think that's quite important as a Chelsea manager to have a little bit of that sort of, grit or whatever you want to call it. I like that, but he will not like how he will have a touchline ban against Aston Villa. Is it away from home? I think it's away from home. Yeah. So anyway, regardless, it's not the kind of game that you want to be missing because Unai Emery is on flames at the moment, and he's really, really effective on the touchline himself as a manager. So for him to be there, coaching against Chelsea, and for Maresca not to be able to be on the touchline coaching against Villa is a huge disadvantage for Chelsea, I think. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, anything can happen, but he'll be very frustrated about that, and that's something I didn't pick up on. So that's tough. Anyway, we're going to speak now. Let's move on and talk about the sponsorship situation. So we've got a temporary sleeve sponsor. I think it's some sort of Thai technology company till the end of this season, and then we'll be looking to do a long-term deal. I think Matt Law's been speaking on it recently. It's worth about £15 million per year, which for a sleeve sponsor is sort of totally fine, pretty agreeable. Chelsea have accepted that long-term deal. Let me just double-check quickly what it is. I'm getting a bit lost. Basically, a long-term sleeve sponsor for about £15 million per season, rather than the 10 million I think we agreed, or the 10 million valuation for the season, which is good because it means we need to start signing some long-term deals. These freaking infinite athletes, these Damac, these whatever it's FT, whatever this current one is. What is this current one that we've got? The 10 million. FPT, yeah, for this season, FPT. These are all temporary, fleeting sponsorship deals, and they look silly. They're undervalued, and it's a bad look for Chelsea. We need to start signing some long term. So the fact how we've locked down for the next season and beyond, yeah, we're expected to announce one, and apparently the valuation is 15 million, which apparently is agreeable. So to talk about the actual front of shirt sponsorship, I mean, I'm going to sound like a friggin' broken record here, because obviously it's a disgrace. Ben Jacobs did go on the London is Blue podcast and explain how CFC and Deal, so remember we were talking to Deal as in DEEL for a front of shirt sponsor, and Arsenal came and took them as their sleeve sponsor. Was it Hand of Arsenal said they sort of essentially gazumped Chelsea and took their sponsorship deal. Now, by the way, this I got criticised by a couple of people in the comments. That guy has really good information, especially about Arsenal. He was cited by many different, I suppose, news aggregators of Chelsea and Arsenal. He's respected and has good information. In fact, the Arsenal fans literally see him up there with David Ornstein for Arsenal information, and everyone below, like Romano and stuff like that. So he was like, Chelsea were in negotiations with them for a front of shirt sponsor, this company DEEL deal, and then they decided to go with Arsenal. Now, Ben Jacobs has since explained on the London is Blue podcast that Chelsea and deal were miles apart in valuation, so it wasn't on the table and it wasn't gazumped. And then Chelsea still have this huge valuation because they believe the value of a Chelsea sponsorship at the moment is huge because you're going next to a Club World Cup badge because, it's a young team. The same reasons I always say, your company will be next to world champions for the next, well, it'll be 3 years, whatever it is, rather than 4. A whole year would have gone already, which is pretty disgraceful. Unless, we lock one down in the end of the season. So we sign like a 4, or it would be like a 5 and a 5 point whatever something year deal. But yeah, they'll be like, right, so you'll be near next to a Club World Cup badge. This isn't some sort of, amazing team that's just won the Premier League, but they're done now. They're like, they're all 32 or whatever. It's not like Chelsea in 2012, like we know, and the sort of golden era is dying. Or, just after Zidane did the three-peat with Real Madrid, but they seem to always stay good. Do you know what I mean? There'll be an example of a really good team at the end of a cycle in terms of a golden era. You don't want to sign a 5-year sponsorship deal. You don't want to sponsor that team for 5 years when you feel like the cycle's ending. The big pitch with Chelsea would be like, this cycle is yet to begin, but they might have won the Club World Cup. Your sponsorship name will be next to the badge, but this team is yet to peak. And over the duration of a 5-year deal you sign with us, you will see the best years of Cole Palmer. The early prime of Estevao and whoever else young Chelsea players that you like that you think are yet to peak. It's kind of crazy. The Oracle situation, apparently was premature. We all content creators reacted to that news and was like, wow, we got a sponsor. Oh, it's only temporary. Turns out they were problematic. A lot of people sort of did some digging on that. So maybe it's a good thing the Oracle deal didn't happen. I remember Matt Law saying on the aforementioned London is Blue that people went prematurely on that and maybe there was a conversation, but it was, set to be announced, I believe. The marketing football expert Twitter account said. Not set to be announced. Chelsea do not have a front of shirt sponsor in the chamber, in the mail. It's just not there. Schrodinger's sponsorship goes on. It's crazy, man. It's friggin' crazy, dude. Where is this sponsorship? And what's it gonna be? Like, why just freaking, where are these conversations with Qatar Airwaves gone? Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. I mean, if you could I sort of romanticized early. It's genuinely years ago now, man. Like sort of like romanticized about Chelsea when we did the that kit launch of, and there was a video game teaser with a Game Boy, and everyone was going, "Oh my god, we're gonna get sponsored by Nintendo." Do you remember that? And I was like, my inner child, my like little Yannick inside me, was thinking, Nintendo? That's friggin' awesome! Chelsea are gonna have Nintendo on their shirt. That is dope. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was really, really gassed on that. And it turned out, of course, it was just a kit promo thing, stylistic retro thing. I mean, it's killing me. I just want it done. I want it sorted. I want it like, I mean, I liked buying kits. There's a bunch behind me without sponsorship on. It was nice. The novelty's good. I just want my football club to be a normal football club that does normal things and has a 5-year sponsorship deal to offer financial security. And therefore they can, buy players and don't need to sell as much and everything's going to be okay. That's what I hope for. Anyway, I want it down there, guys. Keep it locked, though, of course, because there's daily content here. So make sure if you are subscribed on YouTube, turn the bell on. Why not turn the notifications bell on? And yes, of course, available on podcast platforms now. Thank you for your 5 stars on Spotify. Heck, now you've reached the end. You can be like, oh, I haven't actually given Jan 5 stars yet on Spotify. I'll do that now because it's just a tap of my thumb and I'm done. And I'm helping my friend Yannick out. Thank you for doing that. All right, mate. Look, I'm off. Take care of yourselves. I'll be back as soon as news pops. And, of course, I'll react to football matches as well. Take care of yourselves. Bye.